Courtney.
Hi, Paula.
Please tell me about your business and tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I am Courtney Wilson. I am the owner with my husband of Crest Stables here in Chittenango, New York. We have owned the barn since July of 2018, and we've pretty much been, rolling steady with boarders and lesson students since then. So
great. Yeah, describe what you do here.
Yeah, of course. So I work full time along with my husband that works full time as well. So we have between 12 and 14 staff members that work here, not on a daily basis, but just on a rotational schedule throughout the week. We have people that are doing stalls. We have people, myself and one other normally teach lessons. We have 2 professionals that teach lessons during the week. So my normal day after work, I'd come home and I'd teach for a couple hours. And then luckily we're fortunate enough to live right here on the property. And I can just drive up the driveway to go home. But primarily a show barn. We do hunters and jumpers. And this is my pride and joy. So we worked out very hard to be here. Before moving in, it was vacant for 6 years, so it needed a lot of work. Where I'm sitting now is our tack room. And this was formerly 2 stalls. So that's just one of the examples of how much work this place needed. So it's come very far in a couple years.
It's beautiful. Tell me, if I wanted to come to work for you, what skills would I need?
Definitely. So we've had all varieties of skills. We've had adults to some of my lesson students, normally above the age of 12, that kind of start working off their lessons and that kind of thing. But like I said, I do have people on payroll as well. So it just depends on, your work ethic and how motivated you are. Like I said, I've taken adults that even have no experience with horses. And as long as they're willing to learn and, take knowledge from other people, because that's the biggest thing is, every horse is different and, every day brings a different scenario. So being able to adapt to those things, and the weather outside obviously poses some challenges too, with frozen water buckets and, in the summertime, if it's really hot, they don't stay out all day, that kind of thing. So just being aware of those things. They're live animals, so things come up, even periodically with horses you don't expect them to. But yeah, definitely there isn't necessary requirements for, different job sets. It just depends on what you're willing to learn. And definitely if you have those requirements, it's nice, but we don't require them for working here.
So as far as a high school diploma, would I need one of those to come here?
You wouldn't. Like I said, we have people of all ages. My barn manager actually lives right next door, and our daughter rides here. She's pretty much here 7 days a week. And like I said, we do have kids that come and work over the summer when they're in college, but I don't do a background check. I take your word for it, and we work along those lines. But a GED, high school diploma, is not necessary for working here. It just, like I said, I trust you once, and that's pretty much, we have those guidelines because there is a lot of monetary value in the barn between saddles and horses and that kind of thing. So it's really just a trust between each other. So.
Right. And if I do come here, what are my salary ranges? If I know absolutely nothing to having some kind of background knowledge.
Definitely. So just to go off of the highest, so myself and like I said, the other instructor, we teach lessons and we do horse showing and that kind of thing. So our weekly salary can be anywhere from $500 to $2,000, depending on what we're doing that week. So during the winter, it's a little bit slower. So I would say anywhere between $800 to $1,200 a week is what I make as an instructor. But like I said, that varies because if I don't teach, I don't make money. So unlike my full-time job where I have paid leave and that kind of thing, which makes it easier to go to horse shows and that kind of stuff. But, this is a hobby that luckily we're able to do because we have an indoor arena and an outdoor arena, but it really just depends on, how many people you're teaching. But down to that, like I said, there's only 2 professionals here. We both have different businesses. The other instructor teaches here, but she has her own LLC, so she uses my facility. And she kind of rents out the usage that she needs. But I would say my employees, which is the greater population of my workers, they make anywhere between, I would say $11 to $14 an hour. And it just depends. Some of them work off their board, so some of them are boarders here, so they don't really see an exchange of money, but it just depends.
Right. And is there room for growth if I started lower?
Right.
Could I?
Definitely. So like I said, I have kids that are 12, 13 years old that are working off their lessons and, showing that, maybe they're to their parents, they could own a horse, or whatever the circumstances might be. But for anybody that's looking to go to college or looking to make a profession out of this is exactly what I did before I had a business. So my goal was to go to Cazenovia College when I was a senior in high school at Chenango. And then I joined the Air Force, and they were able to pay all of my SUNY tuition. So it was stupid for me to go to a private school when they paid for my SUNY college. So I actually didn't go to college for equine. I had a lot of that background beforehand, being able to do the barn management aspect. Where I really wish I got more growth was the business side of it. Workers' comp, the forms, New York State forms, and that kind of stuff, because I didn't have any experience with that. So that was kind of a learning curve. I was 22 when I bought the business, so it was a big change. I can ride the horses, I can manage a barn, but it's all the paperwork and the legal side of stuff that's different. But yeah, definitely there's growth. Like I said, depending on what you want to do, if you want to show in Wellington all year round, or you just want to do it part-time, it's really up to you and what your goals are.
How would I know if you're hiring?
So I do most of my stuff through Facebook. My goal this year is to get a website going. I just don't have a lot of experience with it, so I want to have someone next to me that knows what they're doing. But Facebook's my biggest thing, word of mouth. We put a sign up by the road March of last year, and I would say even since day one, we've pretty much been full. So we have 22 stalls, and right now we have 27 horses. We have 5 horses that live in run-in sheds outside. And out of those 27, I have 3 of my own personal horses. So most of those are boarders. Like I said, since day one, we've pretty much been full. So Facebook is where we do all our updates. All our shows are posted on there. Any pictures or any announcements and stuff are on there. But, on the road sign stuff, my direct cell phone number is on that. So people contact me that way too.
Great. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to work. I've seen your signs.
Right.
What do I need for uniform or tools? Do I have to supply that stuff?
Definitely. So I wouldn't say it's something I supply. Anybody that shows up to a horse barn definitely knows that they're going to get dirty. Not going to be rolling around like wrestling pigs or anything like that. But, there's times throughout the year that it's muddy out because it's spring or fall. This time of year, the snow is there, but the ground's still not frozen. The biggest thing is you're dealing with, 1,000-pound or 1,500-pound animals. So having the right footwear is definitely the biggest thing. Even brand new students that I, teach, even just rain boots, rubber boots, something with a heel. You don't want to be walking around with flip-flops on, tank tops, that kind of stuff. Anything that the horses could get caught on, anything loose. And we're lucky enough to have heated space, but a lot of barns don't. So making sure you're dress prepared, like I said, I don't want people walking around with like string, tank tops on. But same thing in the winter, if you're going to be here for a couple hours, be prepared to be here for a couple hours, dress warm enough. So most of the time my tour workers are taking layers off because they're warm, but it gets chilly in the barns. So you've got a great facility, and I know how to get a job if I wanted one, and all that offering. So you said that you didn't really go to college for equine. So how did you get into get my foot in the door? So I grew up riding at Ironwood Stables in Chenango, right across from Arise at the Farm on New Boston Road. And they are no longer open anymore. It's actually owned by the Wild now. So that was my instructor. She was originally from Philadelphia and moved back down there. And I was teaching just some small amount of lessons at that point. And that was probably like 2016, 2017. And I always have enjoyed the work aspect of the horses, doing stalls, kind of earning my keep as far as having my horse and that kind of thing. So just, I would say, especially in the horse industry, is just, having a good name for yourself, making sure there's always opportunities for yourself. So like I said, at 22, if it wasn't for the military on my other aspect, I wouldn't have been able to finance this facility. Like I said, myself and my husband own the barn. So people walk in and I'll be like, "Hi, I'm the owner," and they are like, where are your parents, or that kind of stuff. And it's nice to say, I'm proud to say that this is my facility. There's certain things I like done a certain way. And it's kind of nice not to have to ask someone if it's okay to do it that way. So just like my tack room, this was a design I wanted to do. And after being in many barns and stuff like that, you kind of see what works and what doesn't work. And being able to have that was awesome. But it takes a lot of work. So like I said, I work probably 14 to 15 hour days every day. And, probably 6 days a week. There's not one day I'm off from my civilian job and one day I'm off from teaching. So there's days that I just teach and there's days that I'm just at work, but there's not one day that I'm off from both right now, just because stuff's so busy. So the pandemic, I would say, has really helped with that. So it's been awesome. So.
Great. Well, Courtney, that's all the questions that I have. I thank you for your time.
Of course.
And your facility is absolutely beautiful.
No problem. How long was that one?